Some of the most successful people in the world are also some of the most miserable people. This quote isn't coming from just anyone. It's coming from today's guest, John Lee Dumas, CEO and host of the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast, one of the most popular podcasts in the world. This podcast, he's interviewed thousands of the world's greatest entrepreneurs, including Tony Robbins, Tim Ferriss, Barbara Corcoran, Seth Godin, Grant Cardone, Elon Musk, Brendan Bouchard, and Lewis Howes. So if success doesn't bring us happiness, what does? In this episode, John is going to pull back the curtain on why so many high achievers stay miserable and how that you can design a life that actually makes you happy. He's also going to show us the biggest mindset shift that will change everything for you starting today. Because happiness isn't just a feeling, it's a skill. Welcome to the Good Mood Revolution. What if everything you've been taught about success is wrong? John Lee Dumas, one of the most successful entrepreneurs and podcasters of all time, with over 150 million downloads, is going to pull back the curtain today on why so many high achievers are miserable and how you and I can break free of this grind culture that keeps us out of happiness and chasing it rather than living it. In this episode, we're going to talk about the dark side of never feeling like you have enough. We're going to talk about why traditional success doesn't even guarantee fulfillment or happiness, and how you can design your life to actually make you happy. John's going to give us his daily happiness formula, and at the end of the episode, he's going to share his one mindset shift that will instantly change everything for your happiness. I have a warning. This episode will challenge everything you thought you knew about success and happiness. Get ready to rethink the way you live, and let's welcome John to the Good Mood Revolution. John, welcome to Good Mood Revolution, bro.
Excited to be here. It's going to be a great conversation.
Man, you know, we talk about happiness being a skill, and you certainly live like the happiness lifestyle, man. You've created all this freedom in your life. You live where you want to live. You use your time how you want to live it. And it's an honor to talk with you about this topic.
Well, I'm excited to chat. I mean, for me, honestly, I wasn't born like in the happy lifestyle that, I've built today. I mean, I grew up very happy, of course, but there was a grind. There's a grind of college. There's a grind of my time in the military. There's a grind with me trying to figure myself out in the mid-20s. So, for anybody that's in the grind, like building towards it, I would just say it's a journey. You're consuming the right content like this to continue on that path. It is achievable. I was able to achieve it through hard work, through experience, through failures, through struggles. And then once you have it, you got to try to hang on to it because it's a good place to be.
Dude, and I'm so glad you talked about the grind because it takes a tremendous amount of hard work to become successful. And you're one of the most successful people on the planet. So it's very cool that you recognize that, hey, sometimes we are in that season of grind. But man, you've interviewed thousands of the world's top entrepreneurs and business leaders. What have you learned about the relationship between success and happiness? Do they always go together?
Absolutely not. I mean, some of the most successful people that you know are also some of the unhappiest people you know, because there's just a certain type of individual that it's never enough. And there's actually a great quote that I love is, it's not a quote, it's more of a story actually, where there's a guy, he's hanging out at like this big gala event and he's talking to this person that he had just met. And, they were kind of explaining to each other what they did. And then the guy kind of nudged him and said, "Hey, do you see who that person is right there?" And the guy looked up, he's like, "Oh no, I don't recognize him." He's like, "Oh, this guy is so-and-so. Like he's one of the richest men in the world. Like you'll never have as much money as him." And the guy's like, "Oh wait, I do know about that guy. I've done some research on him. But there is actually one thing that I have that he'll never have." And the guy was like, "What are you talking about? The guy can have everything." Dude's like, "Nope. The word is enough. I have enough and I'm happy with that." And that guy right there, he'll never have enough. And because of that, he's always going to want more. And he'll never be happy because he's never going to get to that enough place. And there's just people that are out there like that. So some of the most successful people in the world are some of the most unhappiest. Some of the most successful people in the world are happy because they've gotten to a place where they've done the work emotionally and mentally to acquire that happiness. Because it's hard to be an overachiever and to grind and to get to a level of success and then be like, okay, now I'm going to start taking things off my plate that don't make me happy so I can just do the things that I want to do. It's hard. So I'd say it's a challenge to become successful and then to either maintain or to keep or to attain happiness at that point. And there's people that I meet all the time. I've done traveling a lot of third world countries where, they're making a couple $100 a month, doing something that they kind of enjoy doing, whatever that might be. And their cost of living is like half of that. So they have plenty and they have a family that supports them above and below, and they know they're going to be taken care of, and they're happy. And that brings them happiness.
Happiness isn't just a feeling, it's a skill. And it starts with 5 pillars: authentic relationships, thriving fitness, achieving goals, conquering bad moods, and then choosing good ones. I'll teach you how to master all 5 pillars in my one-on-one happiness coaching. Let's talk. Grab a free 30-minute happiness consultation on my calendar at mattoneil.com/coaching. Man, and this is a question I had for you because you're still striving. You're still achieving, you're still growing, and you've been on this pursuit of what I would say greatness for all these years. And I know now you've created a lifestyle of happiness. Do you think that we in America need to do that striving and achieving and goal planning to find out that maybe that's not the ultimate happiness before we can shift our focus? Or do you think that we could live like these people in this third world country where we say, oh, I have enough?
Absolutely do not need to go through the grinds. I mean, that's the best thing I love about shows like this is you can learn from others. Like, we are all standing upon the shoulders of giants. Every book that I read, I take something away from and I apply to it. And maybe it's a mistake that I avoid because of that learning. Sometimes you gotta, learn mistakes the hard way. You gotta learn mistakes, yourself, which I've done plenty of those as well. But you can learn from others' mistakes. You can learn from other successes. And I mean, I love that movement that's going out there. It's called FIRE, which is Financial Independence, Retire Early. And that's just a group of individuals that said, hey, I'm not going to grind my face off till I'm 65 to then get the golden watch and retire and, maybe have like a good 10 to 20 years left of trying to enjoy my life in my, I guess you could call it maybe your third stage of life, like the latter third of your life. People are like, I want to enjoy life now, like in my 20s or my 30s or my 40s. And so they do work hard, but they get to a place where, they've built enough of a cushion where they are really focused on like, hey, I can make it. And they've really focused on not having their lifestyle spend exceed their month-to-month spend. So they actually do make more than they spend, and they can put some away and they can invest for the future. And then they can maybe adjust and pivot to something that's more enjoyable, that's more fun, and see what grows out of that. So I like people that are just consuming the right content and are learning from others, are surrounding themselves with the right people. Like, there's a reason why I end my podcast every single day with, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So do some deep work, some deep internal work. Find what it is that you truly think that you want. Because again, it's think what you want. Until you experience it, you don't really know. But find what you think you want. Then go find people that are out there that think they want the same thing or are currently living that thing, and try to surround yourself with them. Try to become part of their lives. Try to engage with them. Try to have a mastermind or a regular meeting, or become friends and really experience that. And not to go off on too much of a tangent, because I'll end right here. But so many people that I grew up with, for instance, and my college was a big teachers college. So many people, they just thought that they wanted to be like elementary school teachers. They thought that they wanted to be junior high or high school teachers. And they went to college, went into massive debt to get their teaching degree, even went to grad school, some of them. And then some of them went off and they love teaching, and it's amazing, and they're amazing teachers, and it all came true. But a certain percentage of them were like, oh my God, I hate this. This is not for me. But I have $100,000 in debt, and I put 6 years of my life into this educationally. Like, I'm stuck, and they feel stuck in that. And all that it would have taken? Just go intern for a couple weeks at a school and sit there and say, is this what I want? Like, the same goes for nursing. Like, So many people spend so much time, energy, and effort becoming nurses, getting a nursing degree, and then they hate nursing. And by the way,
dude, my wife became an attorney.
Same exact thing. The example's
she
going.
Went, her older sister, her idol was an attorney. She went to law school, passed the bar, became an attorney. She was an attorney. And I remember when we started dating, she said, I hate law. And I'm like, don't do it. And she said, but I my dad spent all this money on this law school. I don't want to let him down.
So
what's
that's called? That's called the sunk cost fallacy. That means because you spent time, because you spent energy, because you spent money, your life is now stuck in that category. But guess what would have saved her? What would have saved her was actually being an intern for a couple months. Like you can't do it for a day, or a week. You got to go there and just live it and really pretend like this is what I'd be getting every day. I'd be getting dressed. I'd be going and sit next to a lawyer, be their little coffee person. They're getting coffee or getting, and just see what they're doing and being like, is this what I want? And she probably would have been like, this is not what I want. And
she'd be like, no way.
She would have saved all of that. She would have saved all of that time. And by the way, you're looking at somebody who went to law school. My dad's a lawyer. I went to law school. And luckily for me, I said, I'm out of here. I ripped the Band-Aid off. I, took the hit financially and just went off and did something else, which eventually led to me becoming an entrepreneur on fire. So get in that before you get stuck on this path.
Yeah. And then luckily for Katie, she created a vision board, and that vision board had her like being home with the kids when they got home from school, but also taking care of household finances. And all of that came true. She just had to kind of get over this idea that she was letting anyone down and then live the life that she wanted to live. And now she lives her dream life too. But man, I want to ask you, like, you seem so excited to get up every day. How can the person listening implement some of this in their life? What are some of the things that you have designed in your life that make you so excited to live your life?
I have good days. I have great days, and I have not great days. I have bad days. I'm a human being. We're always going to have a roller coaster of emotions. We're not going to know why we feel great sometimes. We're not going to know why we feel bad sometimes. It's just part of life and living and seeing the world unfold around you. So like, I just want people to realize that there's never this pinnacle where you're going to wake up, every morning, like there's a bluebird on your shoulder and you're just zipping around, having the best day of your life every day of your life. Some days are going to be great. Some days are not going to be great, even when you achieve the level that you really want to get to, because that's just life. It's an emotional roller coaster. But what I've done to have more good days and more great days by far than bad days is I decided, like, what makes me happy? What do I enjoy doing? Now, how do I design my life around that? And, we've recently started a family. I have a 50-month-old son. And so that's obviously adding a lot of new dynamics to the equation that's, my wife, Kate, and I are figuring out. So it's really interesting. And, life's always going to change and adjust. You're never there. You're just always kind of working to pivot, to tweak, to adjust, to, try to get to that place. And it never ends. But if you are, for the most part, doing things that you enjoy doing, for the most part, then you're giving yourself a lot better chance of achieving that happiness.
And man, I saw you and Kate when you came and spoke at PodFest, and I heard you talking about being a dad and like how it is changing life for you. And that's freaking awesome. We've got 4 kids.
Amazing.
Here at our house. One of them has the flu. She was up all night. So
I feel like
which
with
is
4
also
kids,
kind of cool.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like with 4 kids, someone's probably always got something, because with one kid, I feel like 80% of the time, Bo's got like a runny nose or some kind of cough. So it's just like, if you multiply that by 4, it's going to always be overlapping.
So I've been taking care of my wife and my daughter today because, of course, she got it from my daughter.
Of course.
Ever feel anxious, upset, or maybe like something's missing? The problem is never your external circumstances. It's always your internal mood. In my best-selling book, Good Mood Revolution, Igniting the Power of Conscious Happiness, I teach you the exact methods to own your moods and control your best life. Go on Amazon today and get yourself a copy, because your best life can't wait. So this is one of the things that makes you happy, is leaning into family. Me too. And I think relationships are one of the keys to happiness. From all these thousands of people you've interviewed, the most successful people in the world, what are some common threads that you've seen, the happiest ones, like the authentically happy ones? What are some common threads you see makes us happy?
There's really three things that I see for entrepreneurs specifically in the business world. Is number one, they're productive. And by productive, I don't mean that they're busy, because a lot of people think they're productive. You're not productive. You're busy because you're spending time doing the wrong things. Being productive means you are producing the right content. You're producing the right solutions to real problems in your space. And when you're productive and you do that in a block manner, then that gives you time to do the other things you want to do to enjoy. So like today, I have 15 interviews on other shows, but it's in a few hour block back to back. And so what did I do this morning? I woke up, I took my dog for a 3-mile walk, which I do every morning. I recorded an episode for my YouTube show called Strategy Today, which I do every morning. I spent a full hour with my son, Bo, while Kate went and worked out and she showered and she did a couple things, whatever. Like I spent a full hour with him. And then I still had plenty of time to get ready, have some breakfast, and then boom, start my day and having a very productive day because I am focused, I am productive, I am disciplined, which I'll be getting to those other two things in a second. And then after these calls, I'm gonna take my dog for another walk because he's 75 pounds. He needs some exercise. And I like walking. I like being outside. It's like when I listen to my shows, it's like my happy time anyways, being outside in the Caribbean with the air on my face, the breeze. And then I'm gonna come back. And then Kate's hosting a little lady bosses group tonight at a restaurant. So I'm on Bo duty. So from 4:30 p.m. my time until bedtime, I'm with Bo. I'm going to have an unbelievably productive day doing 15 interviews, but I've still been doing all these other things as a result, which is really cool because I'm productive. I'm really producing the right content in an efficient manner. So that's the one thing. Number two, discipline. And this just bleeds into it, but I have a saying that is win tomorrow today. And how you win tomorrow today is, guess what? My plan for today didn't come when I woke up this morning. It's been in the books since yesterday, since days, since weeks before. It's been in the books. So when I woke up this morning, all I had to do was execute. I just had to know when to wake up for me to execute on those things that I talked about. And so you have to have a plan of action and then be a disciple to that plan of action. Because when you do, you still can have these pockets of amazing happiness throughout the day. Like if I had not planned my day and I had zero time with Bo, I would have feel like I missed a full date with him. And with a 15-month-old, things happen fast. And the last thing is focus. Follow one course until success. I know it's my lane. I stay in there. I'm not trying to do a million things. I'm not chasing bright and shiny objects. I'm staying in my lane. I'm doing my thing and I'm having a good time doing it. So, I do these interviews one day per month. And when I do them, I block out the day, I show up, I deliver, I have a great time, and I make it happen. So productivity, discipline, focus.
And your day sounds freaking amazing.
I'm enjoying it. Like Kate's like, oh my God, you have 15 interviews today. I'm like, for Kate, that would be a little draining. That'd be tough. She'd enjoy a lot of it, but she'd be done at the end of the day because she's an introvert. I am like a pretty heavy extrovert. I like having conversations like this. I enjoy the energy and the banter and the back and forth. So it gives me energy.
But also prior to the 15 interviews, waking up, connecting with your dog, going outside, connecting with your wife, connecting with your son, like filling your cup.
That's a good way to put it. I filled my cup. I watched the sunrise over the Caribbean during my walk. I filled my cup. And, even though I didn't get the best night's sleep last night, I still am going to crush it today.
You are crushing it, man.
Because I'm enjoying it.
Okay, if there's one piece of advice you'd have for that person who's struggling to be happy as we let you move on to your next interview, what would be that one thing you'd say to that struggling listener?
So when you're relevant in this world, meaning that you are providing real value to other people, it fills your cup. I'm going to steal that phrase from you because it's a great phrase. It will fill your cup. It will make you happy. And of course, in a lot of ways, people that, have families, you're relevant to your family. That's a given. That's going to happen. You're doing the things to be relevant. But what are you doing day to day that really makes you feel relevant? So when I wrote my book, The Common Path to Uncommon Success, there's one sentence that sums up that entire book. Become the number one solution to a real problem in a growing industry. If you can do those three things, you're like, I'm going to be the number one solution to a real problem in a growing industry, you are going to win. And it's just going to be a matter of time. And you're going to feel relevant for providing the number one solution to that real problem that people are having. And because it's in a growing industry, it's going to grow. And so that's exciting to be a part of that and to be delivering on that, especially people that are going to be watching this show. I know that, they lean more towards the entrepreneurial, like business side of things, where they really want to create something special in this world, and they believe they have a message and a mission to do so. So that's exciting, and I wish everybody the best.
Dude, John, it's been freaking awesome, man. So happy to have you on the show. Wishing you the best too. So just to wrap up today's episode, here's a quick recap of what we learned from John Lee Dumas about success, happiness, and designing a life you want. 1, success does not guarantee happiness. Some of the most successful people in the world are also some of the most miserable people. It's because the happiest people know what enough is. And the person who never knows they have enough can never feel fully fulfilled. 2, you don't have to grind to find happiness. You can learn from others instead of making the same mistakes. We want to surround ourselves with the right people and listen to the right content, like Good Mood Revolution, and work on designing a life that's going to make us happy now. 3, financial freedom is about spending less money than you take in. John talked about the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, which teaches us you don't have to grind for 40 years and retire at the end of our lifespan. We can design a flexible, fulfilling life now by keeping our lifestyle in check with our earnings. 4, don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy. Many people stay stuck in careers they hate, like when my wife was pursuing being an attorney, and she was an attorney, because they have invested time and money in them. And instead, we should be sticking to a path that makes us happy. And if we're in a bad path, it's okay to cut and do something else. Number 5, John Lee Dumas's formula for happiness is 3 things: productivity, discipline, and focus. In productivity, he said we need to focus on creating real solutions to real problems, not just staying busy. For discipline, he said we need to win tomorrow, today. Plan our days in advance so that we wake up ready to win the day. And for focus, he said we want to follow one course until success. That's an acronym for focus. And this means that we're going to pick one thing and get really, really good at it until we're successful before we build. And this is keeping us away from chasing squirrels and trying to do too many things at once and not being successful at any of them. He also said we need to fill our cup first. And this was something that we just took away from listening to the way he lives his life by taking his dog for an hour walk and seeing sunrise and spending an hour with his son and getting outside and doing the exercise before he gets into his busy day. And then after the busy day, taking another walk, connecting with his family. So this is filling his cup. And the number one takeaway that he provided at the end was to be relevant and provide value. He said to have lasting happiness, we need to find out how to be the number one solution to a real problem and a growing industry. This helps us feel relevant and needed, which he said is one of the biggest keys to fulfillment. So for my closing thoughts, if you ever feel stuck or overwhelmed or feel like maybe you're chasing and chasing, but you're still unfulfilled, step back and ask yourself, what does enough look like for me? What's your enough number? Also, are you designing a life of happiness, or are you just grinding, trying to have success and look good to others? If you're trying to look good, maybe ask yourself, what makes me happy? And lastly, contemplate this. What can you change today to start to fill your cup every day? Now I want you to go take action and start building a life that actually makes you happy. Appreciate you listening to Good Mood Revolution. If you're loving it, hit that subscribe button and let's have a good mood in your inbox every single week.